Phone companies may build the devices, but hip hop actually teaches people what they're for. Now, back in 1988, schools were banning pagers as tools of the drug trade. Fast forward to 2007, Steve Jobs gave Soulja Boy an original iPhone on the set of Crank That. That helped make the phone popular. Fast forward to 2017, we see Sprint paying over 200 million to buy 1/3 of Jay-Z's music platform at the time, Tidal. Now, this is nearly 30 years of hip hop showing the telecom industry what its technology could become. Everything starts with the beeper. A Washington Post story connected pagers to drug dealing, right? More than 50 school districts banned them, and in fact, Michigan prohibited them statewide. Now, at the time, there were about 6.5 million pagers in America. But then Sir Mix-a-Lot made beepers. A Tribe Called Quest made Sky Pager. Now, by the mid-90s, you see that there are more than 60 million pagers in use, of course, courtesy of hip-hop. In 1996, Mountain Dew and Motorola shipped over 500,000 branded pagers to consumers, and now we see that the beeper went from a stereotype to a youth marketing platform. Then the phone itself became a status symbol. In Biggie's song Juicy, one of the details was the phone bill. It was about 2 G's flat. Motorola released the StarTAC in 1996 for roughly $1,000. It was small, it was expensive, but again, a status symbol. 2 years later, Nori Rap communicates StarTAC Motorola. Then came the Sidekick. In Jay-Z's Excuse Me Miss video, we see him pull one out and he even raps the bars, "He two-ways her, so she writes back." T-Mobile also followed up with additions from Mr. Cartoon and Juicy Couture. Fast forward, Boost Mobile put Kanye and Ludacris in the game in the Where You At campaign and made no contract service feel like freedom. It grew from over 500,000 subscribers in 2004 to 1.2 million by the end of the year. Then down in Atlanta, Maceo made Nextel chirp, building the sound of Nextel's push to talk feature into the record. So as you can see, the phones become music platforms themselves. In fact, by 2004, Billboard launched the ringtone charts, and by 2006, ringtone sales had reached over 600 million. D4L, them Franchise Boys, T-Pain, Soulja Boy, they all made records that had the catchiest few seconds that could be sold separately from the song. T-Pain's I'm Sprung and I'm in Love with a Stripper reportedly sold over 6.5 million ringtones combined. Then the smartphone arrived. Soulja Boy says Steve Jobs and the Apple team came to the Crank That shoot and gave him what he describes as the first iPhone given to a rapper. Now, mind you, he's the artist who understands YouTube, dance tutorials, ringtone sales. He was ahead of his time. He's a pioneer, and they gave him the device to break it to the mainstream. Fast forward to 2013, and we see Samsung. They paid $5 million for 1 million copies of Jay-Z's Magna Carta Holy Grail album, and they gave him the Galaxy owners. 2 years later, we see that Jay bought Tidal for roughly 56 million, and in 2017, Sprint paid a reported 200 million for 1/3 of it. So as you can see, first rappers made the device desirable, then the carriers used rappers to sell the service, then a carrier invested in the artist-owned platform. So at every turn, hip-hop kept showing the telecom industry how technology could fit into people's identities. They built the devices, but hip-hop made them mean something. Let me know what y'all think, though. Peace.